So when we're talking about grasps, we are looking for something that is both functional and efficient. And so usually that is what we call the tripod grasp. Granted, there are other grasps out there in the world, and everyone's grasp might look a little different. And there are plenty of adults who function with different grasps, but this is the one we promote as it has been found to be the most functional and efficient, which will allow your child to make teeny tiny movements with their fingers and fatigue less quickly, as well as write faster without losing the legibility. So tripod grasp consists of thumb placed on the side and bent, index finger on the top, middle finger rests on the side. I kind of encircle the tip of the pencil. You have this wide open web space, and then the writing utensil rests kind of below that first knuckle. So those are kind of the things to look for when you are helping your child learn this grasp. So one of the tricks that a lot of people will use is the pinch and flip, or flip and grip, or however you want to call it. And I've seen the utensil facing out, I've seen it facing that way, I've seen it facing this way, I've seen it towards their body. It doesn't matter that much as long as the general principles are abided by. So have your students form that pincher like a crab. What you have them do is pinch towards the tip, right where the wood and the paint on the pencil meet. Bring it up, have their other hand flip it around, and then they can bring that middle finger out to stabilize. And then make sure that these other fingers are asleep. Some people will have their child hold something like a folded napkin or a pom-pom to try and keep those fingers down. A lot of times kids, likely because they're having to think about more than one thing, but just continually remind them that these guys do not get to play. They're asleep. Because if they start to wake up, usually kids will try to recruit them to be a part of the pencil fun, and they will all be involved, thus making your writing less dynamic and recruiting more muscles that you don't need for the precision work. So again, the flip and grip, it can be done. I like to either have the pencil pointing towards the student because it's like an arrow and you can tell them, point it towards you because you're the one writing, or you could have it pointing towards their writing hand. So then again, they pinch here where that paint is, or on a crayon where those squigglies are. Pinch, other hand, flip. Pointed towards them, pinch, other hand, flip. Bring out middle finger. Some of the common things I see are a thumb that's straight or even hyper extended, so it goes in versus out. Again, this is a more stabilizing sort of position, so it doesn't allow for those movements of the fingers, and their thumb will likely get tired from the amount of pressure through that thumb. Another one is having their pencil upright. I think it's because they don't realize that they can put the pencil down and still see what they're doing. So just remind them, I always tell them, put the pencil back to sleep. This is its nice pillow. It needs to rest there. And the same holds true for if something isn't quite long enough to rest there. Just notice if your child is holding the crayon in a vertical position, then they're more likely to use their arm versus their fingers to create strokes. And a lot of times students will have a tripod grasp, but they're still using their wrist or their arm to make shapes and letters. So sometimes I will just gently put my hand on their wrist and see if they can make a circle, only moving their fingers. And just practice those movements up, down, side to side, around and around. A quad grasp is where pointer finger is a little bit further up, middle finger is kind of on top helping, and fourth finger is the stabilizer. This is another form of an efficient and functional grasp, very, very similar to the tripod. It just involves that one more finger. But again, you can make those tiny movements that you need to. And that is pencil holding in the most efficient and functional way there is.